damn, I'd rather stand. I should be live right now, family. Let me know if y'all hear me. Sometime this phone be acting. I'm live. I'm live on my phone right now. At Wadada's. We're gonna have a good talk with my brother here, Griff. Y'all see the living legend. I'm about to introduce him. Let me show y'all the store real quick. Okay, Jessica, peace. Y'all can hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me just show y'all the store, so y'all, when y'all in the Atlanta area, y'all make sure y'all support black business, Wadada, Healthy Market, and Juice Bar. So this is a store that I frequent a lot. And my brother Griff, let me show you this right here. You are the song you sing, ABCs. Wow. Okay. www.enemyminds@gmail.com. So Griff got a children's book out. So before we even start the interview, family, I gotta make sure I support the brother and get a book, my brother. Let me get a book, my brother, before we even start this conversation, because oh man, that's some Negro shit, Griff. You try to get. Let me get a. Song you sing, alright? Yes, please do. Yeah, we're gonna have a good conversation, yo. We're gonna talk about this DJ Akademiks thing that got all the elders talking. I seen LL made a live, Russell Simmons. I seen Black Dot started talking. DJ Akademiks calling the elders dusty. And he's wondering why they ain't got the bag like the young brothers. So we gonna get into that. Griff, you know how Griff, I don't know if anybody could go on like Griff. You see his face right now. You see. Oh, you didn't hear about? No. Oh. Hold on for a second. We're gonna interview, man. Yeah, I didn't. I thought I could have swore you heard about that. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Let me get this book first. You take debit? Yeah, you got that? Okay, yeah, let me. Yeah. Swipe it, but you got cash. Get Cash App, yeah. All right, so as soon as we done with the interview, I'm gonna send you the Cash App. But let me show y'all what I just got. Yeah, I just purchased it. Yeah, all right. Take that home. So, Griff, basically, do you know who DJ Akademiks is? Yes, I do. So, you made a comment saying about, the elders in hip-hop is dusty. And as far as though he's wondering why, a lot of people look at y'all as haters when y'all criticize the younger generations of what they're doing, and people associate having a bag with success in life. When you think about a lot of people think about success, they only consider having a bag. So when you see the young dudes with the money phones and all of that, Russell Simmons and all of them, a lot of the elders, they're not flossing cash around like the younger dudes, or driving around in Maybach Benzes and all that. So, he made a comment, said that the elders is dusty, and it got a lot of people mad, a lot of people upset. One thing Dot said was that the elders were the seeds, and he's looking at the fruit, but you can't have the fruit without the seeds. But he said it way better than what I'm saying now, but you could go to Black Dot's Instagram and check out what Dot say. But just hearing that from a brother who's I believe he's probably in his late 20s, early 30s, what's your thoughts on something like that, my brother?
It depends on how he defines success. That's number one. Yeah. Well, I think that's number three. First of all, when you talk about the elders being dusty, would you say that about your mama and your grandmother? You understand what I'm saying? If they don't necessarily have the what's the name? If they don't necessarily have the bag, so to speak, you don't say that about your grandparents who laid the seed. Who laid the seeds for you to grow, for you to bear fruit. You understand what I'm saying? You can't even make those kind of statements in reference to the elders being dusty. But dusty in what kind of way? You understand what I'm saying? There's a vast majority of them dying. You understand what I'm saying? The mere fact that we're elders and we still living, you understand, is a testament to something very deeper than what you could ever imagine, academic. You understand what I'm saying? So I think you need to kind of rethink that thing. So the idea now of only having money in terms of what success actually means to you, yeah, that's kind of twisted and backwards. You understand what I'm saying? Without the elders, these rappers of today that can floss, not even those that are in music though, Just other people that have kicked down certain doors for them to kind of at least express themselves. And I think the brother probably needs to kind of just put the pause on that thinking for a minute. Listen to what everybody is saying. I'm not saying redact it. I'm not saying retract it. I'm not saying pull it back. Because once that arrow leaves the bow, you can't call it back. You can't unhear it. You understand what I'm saying? But what I think I need the brother to kind of do, and this is just from your brother, Professor Griff, to you as a 62-year-old man to a younger man, when you start thinking of in terms of using that language, first of all, when it comes to your elder, that's problematic in and of itself, Brother Rich. Do you understand what I'm saying? We criticize that music because we see our people dying. We criticize that music because I wrote a whole entire book, 2 of them. Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop and Symbology. All right. Me and Black Dot is in one of my first books, Analytics, where we break the science of all of that down. You understand what I'm saying? And we would never, outside of the music realm, we would never look at our elders today that gave me the knowledge that I can't even begin to lay a base to even write these things. I can never call them dusty. That's an insult. You understand what I'm saying? You don't find any other people other than black Americans that will turn around and call those that have laid the path for us and sacrificed for us dusty. Can you imagine saying Miles Davis is dusty? John Coltrane is come on, man. That's unheard of, man. Aretha Franklin is dusty. Stop that, bro. We can't even do that. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's an insult, but I think I need you to understand something, brother. That kind of insult runs deeper than you could ever imagine. You're going to feel the effect of this when you're about 40 years old. And hopefully when you become an elder, all right, you're going to really find out what it means when someone insults you to that degree.
A lot of people in the chat is saying that DJ Akademiks is not a black American. I think he said I think he's Jamaican. Do you think being from the islands or maybe being from another continent, you don't have the same respect level for hip hop as you would if you seen it being born and seen the birth and see the whole aging of hip hop? Do you think that affects that as well?
Yes, of course. We went through the trials and tribulations, and I really need him to hear this. We went through the trials and tribulations to establish an art form to not only see us through musically, but to see us through culturally. We were doing this before it was called hip hop. Does he know that? Matter of fact, we was doing this before he was born. Before you had any acknowledgement of what it is when we say higher infinite power healing our people. We knew this and was doing this back then. So when you talk about taking and using a higher form of alchemy, taking something, nothing, base metals, and turning it into something global that everyone can participate in and partake in and benefit from and learn from, bruh, come on, man. You can't call those architects dusty. You just can't do that, bro.
Do you feel as though the podcasting era that we live in forces people to be more disrespectful because they're looking for shock value? So you'll hear some of the most disrespectful or outrageous things in the world, but it's getting publicity and it's getting talked about, and all of that is by design because this is what people have to do to get attention. Do you think this is an effect of this podcasting world that we live in?
I'm gonna answer that question in a few minutes. Why does he call himself DJ? Why is the DJ before his name? You can't use that if you're gonna call those that created that and created that environment, that name, that culture, all right, that surrounds the DJ. You understand what I'm saying? You can't even take that and use that if they dusty. What did you do? You took that, you blew the dust off of it? You understand what I'm saying? Before anybody was giving checks, all right, we were making headway because we did it when we didn't even have to get the checks. Those brothers and sisters up in Cedar Park, those brothers and sisters in Bronx, Brooklyn, the Five Boroughs, Yonkers, all right, weren't even getting the check, but we pushed the culture forward. So much so you was able to come to America and do your thing as a DJ. Come on, bro. So now this podcast era. I
Black
think,
got in the chat. He said, "I approve this message."
right? I think a lot of people use the idea of having an audience, and they don't understand the duty and the responsibility, the ability to respond in a way, all right, that's respectful to not only yourself, your people, and your culture. We need, these are sacred airways, man. We cannot abuse this, all right, because in a minute we're going to pay for this, man. For real, we are. In a spiritual way, in a psychic way. We're going to pay for this, so we have to be able to treat the airways as though they're sacred. You just can't grab this microphone and stand in front of this camera and say anything. You follow what I'm saying? Me and Black Dot did an interview that I put in my book, Analytics. We are responsible for what comes off of these pages, man. You understand what I'm saying? If somebody turned around and asked us, y'all did an interview back in 2015 or whatever, and y'all said yada, 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 yada. Can you expound on that? We're responsible for that body of work. You cannot now, later on, 10 years from now, look at this and say, oh, them Negroes are dusty. You understand? When you actually used it to get yourself through. You understand what I'm saying? So, no. We should never use that language, not when it comes to our people, and not when it comes to our art form, and not when it comes to our culture.
What do you think about recently the young brother PNB Rock? PNB, or I think it's PNB Rock. He got killed in L.A. at I think the Roscoe's chicken spot. Chicken and waffle spot, right? And I mean, this is a regular occurrence now with these young artists getting killed, whether it's by drugs or whether it's by violence. What do you think? You know, and this we keep talking about this. It almost reminds me of when we keep talking about the school shootings and people's like, yo, something has to change. Something has to change. What the hell is going on? I mean, dudes always had. Puff was flashing money back then in the 90s. A lot of dudes was flashing money back then. I don't remember as many killings as I see now. Why are so many brothers getting robbed, getting killed, whether it's Pop Smoke, whether it's PNB, whether it's XXX? Why are so many of these brothers getting killed? It look like it's happening more and more and more now, my brother.
I think the killings are more frequent because I think the frequency because of the frequency of course has changed, and I think Black Dot and other people have talked about this for a while, the frequency changing from the 432 hertz to the 440 hertz. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't have a natural connection back to the self. This is why we can say the elders are dusty, because the frequency in the music is changed. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I'm thinking because of, take this into account, let's do the math. Social media has people discombobulated. The fluoride and the different elements in the food have got people discombobulated. The chemtrails, the poisoning of the water, the poisoning of the atmosphere, the poisoning of the music, all right? Not having knowledge of self, all right? Not being centered. Anything happening, anything can be put online. People believe in anything they want to. People identifying as, I heard one brother on YouTube, he was somebody saying he couldn't film in a certain area. He says, my cameraman identifies as a camera. So you can identify. No, it's getting ridiculous. But add all of those things up, and you can see why somebody could say, oh, I saw him flossing 2 weeks ago. I saw him flossing online. Where is he at? He at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle. Yeah, we're going to pay him a visit because now this is an easy come up for us. So you go lay him down in the middle of the street in front of witnesses, not even caring, to take maybe 10,000, and that's it. That's all his life is worth. No, you see, when we start beating one another down and start belittling one another and bringing human beings down to the level of an animal, and we bring us down to the point where we're not worth anything by calling us dusty, all right, then and only then can you take a life and think nothing about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, when I first heard it, all right, peace, Queen, how you feel? All right. When I first heard that he got shot, first of all, I didn't even know who the brother was. So I had to go check in with my daughters to see, like, what kind of music did he make? And I'm like, oh, okay, so part of that generation. the idea of resolving any kind of conflict, dealing with conflict resolution, to them is always just silence them, cancel them, kill them, do away with them, and we done, and we can push forward. That is no way for us to move going forward. Not at all, man. The brother, songs that I did hear, had a degree of talent, like all of the brothers that we've lost had a degree of talent. Just because it may not be what you like to hear, nonetheless, they was participating in the art form. Maybe we think they needed to say something more positive or do something more positive. That is not up to us to decide. It's up to that individual to decide. You understand what I'm saying? Because what I put out there, if I'm ready for the backlash, if I'm ready to put music out there that's going to warrant a certain kind of response, then I got to suffer that consequences, Brother Rich. I was part of a group, and still am part of a group, that put out a positive message to uplift the vibratory frequency of our people so we can do better. Because if we knew better, we would do better. You understand what I'm saying? So, thank you very much. And the thing about that situation, though, is we was the ones packing heat, but not for our people. We knew what we were saying, and we knew the government might come against us. Not even necessarily for the government. You understand what I'm saying? We knew if we were speaking against and up for black people, and we were speaking against racism, white supremacy, we knew we would get a certain backlash. But we was prepared to take on anything that was coming our way, and we did. And we're still standing.
You know, usually music is a reflection on what's going on in society, and the rappers, they be like, oh, I'm just talking about what's going on. What's strange is that the entire world has changed since 2020, and I feel as though a lot of people are waking up to what's going on, but I'm not seeing it reflected at all in the music that peace, brother, right? Yeah, I'm not seeing it. The change that I see happen in society, I mean, people are finding out how to eat better, how to exercise better, about schooling, about finance, and you got podcasts like Earn Your Leisure. I mean, we're waking up to a whole lot. But it seems like the youth, the music isn't being reflected with the change that I'm seeing in society. I would figure the youth would gravitate toward more music that reflects all this change that's happening right in front of our very eyes. But I'm seeing the same drill, the same kill a nigga, shoot a nigga, stab a nigga. I don't see that much change happening. Why is that, Griff?
I don't know. I think they have the idea of having a theme, having a concept for a song, having an idea of what I want this song, what purpose I want this song to. I think that idea, I think that's long gone, Brother Rich. I think the idea of just waking up one morning and if I feel like talking about how much I want to smoke, you understand what I'm saying? I think them cats feel that they have the ability to do that because technology has allowed them to do that. When you can roll over and go in your dining room and cats in there making beats and you can record something and put it out to 1 million followers right from your dining room, can you imagine the degree of power? You understand what I'm saying? But let me speak directly to what you're saying. If you could talk about making $1 million in cryptocurrency, right, and then you don't take that $1 million in cryptocurrency and turn around and have it reflected, all right, and not only a safe lifestyle, but a business, and then not only a business, have it reflect in the culture, then you're only doing that to serve you. None of this of what I produced, all right, that I ever did to serve me. This is not for me. I don't work for me. I work for my people. I want to serve the people. You understand what I'm saying? I could have done a whole bunch of other things to serve Professor Griff and probably would have been rich by now. You understand what I'm saying? But if we do this and we make the music to uplift the frequency and the vibratory frequency in the music to uplift the people, you understand what I'm saying? It's part of what we do. So now you're right. The acquisition of having and acquiring money and wealth, it should be reflected in the music. But guess what, Brother Rich? It is. They brag about making money all the time. This is why they have stacks and stacks and stacks of the money in the videos. But you see, with that comes a heavier responsibility now. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're primarily talking to a generation, not a generation of people, but yeah, a generation of people that are not rich, that are not well off, struggling, especially after this pandemic.
Hey, what's your thoughts on hip hop's just been in the news so much lately. When you talk about academics or when you talk about the foundation of hip hop, what's your thoughts on when Fat Joe said that said the comment about the Puerto Ricans helping to create hip hop? Is there accuracy in that?
No. I love Fat Joe too. That's my dude, man. As a matter of fact, he doesn't know because he hasn't heard it yet. The world doesn't know. I'm starting off my next album with his voice. He did an interview with Nick Cannon. He said, "What made you go get the Pablo Escobar of hip hop?" But anyway, no. Fat Joe, let me educate you about a few things. Hip hop started in the DNA, in the genes of black people on the continent of Africa. We pulled hip hop from our inner being, man. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, we were doing hip hop before hip hop was hip hop. So how did Puerto Ricans and anybody else know about that? When you're talking about coming from the continent to America, we was already doing hip hop there. We just didn't call it hip hop. You follow what I'm saying? So then if we was doing telling the stories in the villages, if we came to America in the holes of ships and we was the scat ratting preachers and we spoke on the corner, we did the soapbox and we did jazz and we did blues, boogie woogie woogie songs, and we did R&B and we did rock music and we did gospel and we did fusions and we did all this other kind of stuff. Puerto Ricans had absolutely nothing to do with that. But let me educate you about something else. Who the hell do you think the Puerto Ricans are? Black people. So, give me the history now. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you, those people that you see in Cuba are black. They us. Those people you see in Puerto Rico are black. They us. Do you understand? So to that degree, you right. To the other degree, the deeper degree, hip-hop comes from the DNA of black people on the continent. You understand what I'm saying? Plain and simple. Higher infinite power, healing our people.
Man, this has been I'm glad I caught you out here, my brother, because when you got so much conversation going on about the history of hip hop, we got to talk to somebody that was there during the foundation of hip hop, and you are a part. Yeah. That's our people all day, every day. Music is in our genes, like Griff said. Just want to let it be said, Public Enemy is the greatest group of all time. I want you to tell, before we continue any further, while we got a packed room in here, I want you to tell the people how they could get your book that you got here, and tell them a little bit about your book, my brother.
Well, they can get my book. They can get my book directly from my new website that I put together. It's www.seriousmindsedu.com. seriousmindsedu.com. My book is called "You Are the Song That You Sing," and I kind of geared it towards ages 5 to 12. But you know our people. How old is your little one?
3.
They already doing ABC. 1, 2, 3s, colors, shapes. Damn near in the kitchen with mom, stirring up something. You understand what I'm saying? So, but what I did was very interesting, Brother Rich. I kind of put the book together, taking our ancestors, right?
Beautiful.
And doing the ABCs, of course. That's elementary. We could do that all day long. But colors, it's on 4 or 5 different levels. Going over the history with a small bio, and then giving them a song. So much so, this song, we can use this song to teach our children a lesson today. So we cannot call the elders dusty when they doing stuff and leaving us with the Queen of Soul. Dusty? Absolutely not. But I put her, Aretha Franklin, Queen of Soul, on the same page as Alicia Keys, because both of them have something to say to our young women. Alicia Keys said, "Girl is on fire." You understand? Aretha Franklin said, "Respect." You understand what I'm saying? And respect, meaning to bind back to, specto meaning to see, to look again. That's all we're asking you to do, DJ Akademiks, is look again. Respect the fact that you came up in a culture, in an art form that you did not create, that you benefited from. You enjoyed the fruits from the seeds that Black Dot said we planted. Anyway, so every single page, man, I'm putting artists on the page that we can learn from. You understand what I'm saying? On the same page as Bob Marley. You talking about a lesson in and of itself, man. Curtis Mayfield and
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry. We didn't even know that some of these individuals were responsible for certain genres of music. You understand what I'm saying? And then I get to some of the artists that we may know today. Some of us may know. Let me go to the letter H, which I like to kind of talk to people about.
Fire.
Oh, give thanks, girl, bro. Hazel Scott. Ask your audience, do they know who Hazel Scott is? Probably not. Hazel Scott was the first black woman to have a nationally televised show on American TV. Hazel Scott played 2 pianos at the same time. You're talking about a genius, multi-level genius like Imhotep. She was channeling Imhotep's energy. Sister Hazel Scott, but we don't know anything about Hazel Scott. We need to learn about Harry Belafonte. I got a direct connection with this brother simply because he was one of the ones that got us into the Hall of Fame by giving us his blessing and giving us a speech and introducing us and saying, you know something, I'm a vouch for these brothers. He's the same brother that supported Dr. Martin Luther King in his struggles. Yes, so he's not only an artist and a musician, but an actor. You can't call these individuals dusty, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And I can go on and on. India Ari. I can go on. Hold on. Let me get to us. Marvin Gaye, Mariah Carey. Oh man, Nina Simone. Nina Simone gave us Mississippi. God damn. And when we start breaking down with these, they were protesting then. There was protest songs then. Hold on. Let me get to this page right here. Cyrock. Soleil gave us Daughter of the Earth. Oh. You understand what I'm saying? So when you turn to any page, you can go through the history of the artist. And you can teach us. Stevie Wonder says, when you believe in things that you don't understand and you suffer, superstition ain't the way. So there's lessons on every single page. You are the song that you sing. I'm coming up with book 2. I'm working on it right now, Brother Rich. And a lot of the artists, when I was doing book signings like I'm doing today, I was running into the artists that I'm putting into the book. Chubb Rock said, you need somebody to do the voiceover to kind of make an audio book. He'll do it for me. Shout out to Chubb Rock. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, you are the song that you sing, man. I think stuff like this is necessary. All right. Miss Soleil, excuse me. Would you like to come say a few words you don't want to say about the page that you're on? Come on. Nah, sweet baby girl can come over here with me. We're going to come over there if you don't come up. Come here, Sage Amanda. Black people, see how y'all act. This is my granddaughter. How you doing today? You okay?
Griff,
huh?
You on camera?
Yeah.
Hello,
How are you?
I will not tune it in the water.
Oh, you got Waddy?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, that's good. You got to drink water, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, where your mommy at?
I didn't know mommy.
The mommy over there? Okay. Tell Amma to come here. Go get Amma. Tell her to come here.
No tea.
Oh, she's chilling? Oh, okay. All right. You are the song that you sing. She's only 2.
Beautiful, man.
Right.
Beautiful.
So even at 2 years old, they know. You understand what I'm saying? Our ancestors are in our children. We see our ancestors in our children. That's Soleil's mama inside of there. You understand what I'm saying? Coming back to revisit if they never leave us. You understand what I'm saying? But DJ Akademiks wouldn't even understand that though. You understand? So when you start talking about some elders are dusty, we need to ask him, what does the term elder even mean? Oh, see you later, okay? All right. We need to ask the question, what is an elder? What is the purpose of an elder? All right? What is the functioning duty of what an elder even is? All right? For us to make a statement like that. All right? But anyway, you are the song that you sing. This is Professor Griff. I'm here at Wadadas doing a book signing. And shout out to this sister that put this establishment together. She's always been in the community doing positive things, man. You understand what I'm saying? She had a bookstore down the street, as a matter of fact. The old man Jeff from Athletics, is it? Athletics? Athletics? Yeah. Athletics, right? Yeah. He had his stuff in there. He was doing big things. The sister's always been doing great things. But anyway, you are the song that you sing. This is Professor Griff.
Let me, you mind taking about 2 questions from the people? All right, let's take about 2 questions from the people, from the family. Y'all see, y'all see I'm out here with Professor Griff. Give me 2 questions before we get out of here. It was absolutely an honor coming out here and kicking it with Professor Griff and his family. So give me a question. Yo, another thing, Griff, I was getting the book to support you. I didn't know the book was that thorough. That's thorough, brother.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to take that home and read that to my son. That's thorough, family. That's not just. But give me a. Okay, okay.
Can you come do this for her? Come on, Alma's gonna do it. We're gonna turn this way so Alma can come over there.
Okay, all right, Griff. I got a question for you. Somebody said,
Let her walk behind you.
okay, what about the theory that a lot of rappers being murdered are signed to Empire Records and the label is killing them? I'm hearing this thing that the label is putting out insurance policies on these rappers. Do you think is that conspiracies going wild, or you think there's some truth to that right there, Professor Griff?
I think the conspiracy is kind of going wild because when I first heard that, I thought about it and I said to myself, hold on 1 second. All right, give that to Alma. All right, thank you. All right, thank you. I heard that and I said to myself, okay, well, truth to that on a certain level. We've always known with these latter contracts, the contracts have changed to global contracts. Now they're talking about signing your universal rights away. So even if they land on Mars now, you have no rights to your music. Even if they're broadcasting on Pluto, you have no rights to your music. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, the contracts have changed, and yes, inside of the contracts, there are insurance policies in the contract. So that aspect of it is true. Having the artist murdered, I can't say. I can't, and I don't want to kind of put that out there for people to say Professor Griff said. I can't say that. When I get the receipts and the facts, because me and Black Dot have talked about this early on in our lectures, but until I get the receipts and the facts, I can't even speak on that. No investigation, no right to speak.
They keep asking how to get a book. We say it, but people are coming in late. Tell them how to get the book again.
Well, they can get the book by just calling me directly, 678-557-2919. They can text me, or they could just go to my website, professorgriff.me, to get the book. Or they could go to www.seriousmindsedu.com to get the book. Like I said, just take my phone number down, text me, I'll get it to you, 678-557-2919.
Somebody's asking, how can we show appreciation to our elders?
Let's answer that question very easily. We can show our appreciation. We can show our appreciation. We can show our appreciation. we can show our appreciation to our elders by appreciating the elders. How do you show your appreciation to your grandmother? You understand what I'm saying? Can you talk about the music industry, for example? Conversation you and I have every single day about no, it's not. It's very simple. About the frequency in the music that's changing us to the point where we're dying at a wholesale rate.
You're going to be in trouble when y'all get home.
Exactly, thank you.
I'd like to get in that kind of trouble.
So deep. I thought you actually had a microphone.
It
You
is a
just are
microphone.
holding this like it's a mic. You just over here all extra like, yeah, like you. Wow. Oh, wow. That's a long conversation, but because I work with sound in a whole different way now, and after being in the music industry and putting out a type of music and then having an awakening and leaving the music industry because not wanting to contribute to the degradation that was happening and what was being pushed in so-called urban music. So I think we tend to look at music and say, oh, it's just music, it's just this, it's just entertainment, but it's not. Sound birthed everything into creation, everything into being, and it affects us on a cellular level. And so what holds our attention longest is what we become, what we continue to listen to and pour into our spirit affects us on a cellular level. I mean, it literally alters your DNA. So we see what music is being played, and then you can just step outside your door and see that being enacted out. It's not just art imitating life or life imitating art. It really is. We're being programmed on a cellular level to become what we are listening to. So if we're constantly listening to murder, death, kill, or even what we see in women in hip hop now, we see this super masculine energetic of I don't need no dude, I don't need a man, I don't this, I can do this. And we're seeing this promotion of a distorted masculine energetic dressed up in a pretty package, but it's very detrimental to relationships, to women in general, I mean, it's such a long and broad and deep conversation, and we could go on and on and on, but the bottom line is it's not just music, it's not just entertainment. When you work with sound and you understand it on a scientific level, it literally programs your cells. Your cells respond, your DNA responds, and your DNA becomes altered by sound. That includes the music that you're listening to. And so then you put pictures and images to that on top of it, and you go outside and you look and see what's happening. Then we wonder why we keep seeing rappers getting killed. We wonder why we keep seeing people falling into the same energetic. It's the only group of music that we see of people constantly getting killed. You don't see gospel artists getting shot down and getting targeted. You don't see country artists getting shot down and targeted. You don't see R&B artists. Not that their music is not that there's not negativity in some of the other musics, but when this is what we are seeing being programmed over and over and over, and this is what's being propped up and rewarded greatly financially, then this is what we're going to continue to see happening. And we are becoming what we're continuing to talk about. We're becoming that because it doesn't even matter my opinion. It doesn't matter anyone's opinion, what they think, how they feel about it. We're talking about science right now. And the science of sound, the science of vibration, and it programs your cells, period. It alters your DNA, period. And we become what we continue to speak, what we continue to listen to, the vibrations that we continue to immerse ourselves in. And so we can go outside and see why we see a culture of people killing each other, continuing to kill themselves through drugs, continuing to use sex to manipulate, to say, seeing women become distortedly masculine, not even operating in a divine masculine. You're operating in a distorted masculine energetic that is to say you just use somebody for sex, or what can you give me, or what, not mutually beneficial at all. So this isn't women's empowerment. This isn't sexual empowerment. This is abuse of power. It's misuse of power, and it's not mutually beneficial. And then we wonder why we see the falling apart of the family. So it goes very, very deep, and it's not just my opinion. It's scientific fact. I mean, you can just look around. Just look around, and we could go on and on. And he gonna hand me this mic and then walk off with the baby. No, he sure is.
One more question, Soleil. One more question, if you don't mind.
With the rigged microphone.
She got jokes on the mic, y'all. You see the mic? She got jokes on the mic. I'm glad you brought that up. That was actually the next question, and that was absolutely magnificent. You dealing with the science of this, because that's a very important element that doesn't get talked about a lot. And you brought up the women's empowerment. And I recently seen an interview. Well, I seen a clip with Hillary Clinton talking to what's the sister's name? Meg Thee Stallion, and they were talking about. And I don't want to say what WAP means in front of the young one, but they were talking about WAP, and a lot of people will say, "Hey, this is sexual liberation." The same thing Meg Thee Stallion I'm doing. That you see women doing in Africa, so they'll make the comparison. I don't know if that's a fair comparison, but you'll hear the comparison, and they say women have been, put down for so long. It's about time we have Meg Thee Stallion out there and other sisters that's free enough to show their body, shake their body, move the way they move. So, what do you think about the WAP and Hillary Clinton pandering the blacks and all of that stuff?
Well, I didn't see the interview. I didn't, so I can't speak on that. So I didn't see it. I don't really keep up in that manner. What I will say is that woman has been oppressed, suppressed for thousands of years. So this is not new. This didn't just happen overnight. So this has been. We're talking about at least 5,000 years that this has been in the making of where we are now. So it's no one's fault who is currently here at this moment that we're talking about thousands of years. With that being said, I would strongly disagree that it's empowering in a sense of, because what we're seeing is you are seeing the result of the oppression, suppression of women through patriarchal white supremacist indoctrination, right? So what we're seeing is not, because women we're seeing women being, because you can think about women being naturally wild by nature, okay? But what we think of as wild is not what we're seeing portrayed as wild. What we're seeing portrayed as wild is wild things that have been caged and now they are chaotic, okay? So a wild thing is in harmony with nature. A wild thing is not destructive to itself and to others. A wild thing operates in mayat. We're seeing a great imbalance and misuse of power. Women are powerful. The yoni is powerful. Sex is powerful, but it's being misused in that way. So when you see women that have been oppressed for thousands of years, that have literally been caged, and now, yes, they're breaking free. So we're seeing that. So it's understandable, but it's still not. It's still out of balance. And so when you talk about, oh, well, they did that in Africa and they shake they weren't doing it for thousands of people and every other culture of man. If you were to come to a village in Africa at that time, the women, these are fertility dances. They're meant to be sexual, but they weren't meant to be sexual for everybody, for the entire world to see, for you to bend over, and then they're done in a degrading way now. This isn't just, we're going, oh, and tribal, and this was tribal. There weren't, I guarantee you, if you came in and the white man had came in, or another culture had come in, or another tribe had come in, they're not going to put their women on display and have them bent over shaking their ass for the rest of the world to look at. That was done for them to find, for their fertility and their rituals within their own tribe and culture of people, not for the rest of the world to see, and not in the way that it's being done. So I understand it, because we're seeing wild things who have been caged, who have now been set free and are now out of balance. So we need to bring it back into a balance. Yes, sexuality is beautiful. Yes, being able to operate in that. I teach some of those practices, but what you will never see is me bent over, shaking my ass half naked on a camera for. So let's put it like this. I'm initiated into a tantric tradition, right? A traditional tantric tradition. That tradition says that you don't do any of these practices, no sexual practices, in the presence of pashus. A pashu is someone that's in their animal nature. So what you have is women parading themselves in front of men who are in their animal nature, women who are in their animal nature, out of balance, caged things that have been freed, that are operating negatively, that are operating outside of balance and mayat, who are not operating in harmony with nature, who are misusing their power because they're wild things that have been caged and are now having this freedom. So we're calling it women's liberation, but it's actually suppressing women. How many of us are looking at, we really look at this and say that I'm looking at that and respect that, or that's what I want my wife to be, or that's how I want my daughter to be, or that's going to be conducive to a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship or healthy families and healthy communities, because we're not just celebrating sexuality and the beauty of woman and honoring women and bowing down. We're calling women bitches. We're calling ourselves bitches. We saying fuck niggas. I don't need it. Excuse me, I'm going to have to say it now, because I don't even use the language anymore because it's so vulgar and degrading. I stopped using it 20 years ago when I left the industry because I know the power of it. But this is what we're saying. I don't need all this, you can take wet ass, put all of this stuff that we're talking about. But this is not in a honoring way. We're not honoring the yoni. We're not honoring the power of women. We're not honoring women as goddesses. We're looking at them as things to be used. We're taking ourselves and saying, just debase this most powerful spiritual energy, this sacred sexual energy, and just throw it around like it's some trash and use it and then misuse it to manipulate men, to manipulate others, to gain favor and riches and all this stuff that you see that's greatly rewarded. Why is it greatly rewarded? Why do you think the music industry would take and greatly reward the most debased behavior, and then we go and make excuses for it because we like it? Because we don't like nobody to tell us what we can't do and what we can't. So, and I like that. Oh, it's mine. I just like it. It's just, I feel some type of way. It's destructive. It's destructive. It's not women's empowerment. It's destructive. And I have a heart of compassion for them because they don't understand what they're doing. They really don't know and understand. So they'll get a little bit older and then look back and see, because it don't matter if you understand, if you know, whether you do or you don't, you still have to pay the consequences for it. You still have to pay the consequences for our actions. There's a karmic debt to be paid for everything we do, whether you understand it or not. So to continue to put that out, to continue to put that kind of destructive messaging out from men and women, it's a debt to be paid. I left. I was involved in it. I was a part of it over 20 years ago. I put one album out, and I didn't like the direction they were trying to to gear me towards what they were trying to create in me, and I said absolutely not. And I sat on my couch and I heard a voice tell me and say, is this what you want for your daughters? And I said absolutely not. I had a 7-album deal, a 7-figure 7-album deal that I walked away from, that I got negotiated out, and went on this path of seeking, the spiritual path of seeking and understanding, which took me down the path of knowing and understanding the power of sound, the power of the voice, the power of our tongue, how we speak. We can sit here and say all day long, oh, well, we speak our powerful words, and God spoke everything into creation. Every tradition talks about the word speaking everything, this vibration speaking everything into creation, but then we make excuses for the stuff we like that is not in Ma'at, not in balance, that we're not using in a sacred manner. Sexuality is beautiful. Being able to move your body in that way is beautiful. It's not meant for the world to see in a based way, in that way, because I'm gonna keep saying it. We're seeing wild things, you ever seen a wild thing in nature? They're not destructive to themselves. They operate in harmony. They do everything to preserve the sanctity of who and what they are. They operate in Ma'at and in balance. Wild things don't operate that way. So they do everything to protect their young, to protect their tribes. But we're seeing again these wild things, because women have been oppressed for thousands of years, now free, supposedly, but they've been caged. So now they're operating in a chaotic way. So I keep coming to that because we have to understand, like, really, really what is happening. So no, I wouldn't say I would say that the pendulum is swinging in this direction so it can come back into balance. But we got to come back into balance, because we're doing ourselves as a people a disservice. We're doing our children as a disservice. We're doing ourselves as a disservice when we operate in this, for just women alone. That's a highly distorted masculine energetic to operate in, and what is being put out in female hip hop right now, right? That is destructive on a hormonal level to women. They're talking about it's a destructive, the most harmful thing that you can do to a woman is have her put under extreme amounts of stress and operate in a distorted masculine energy, and it destroys your reproductive health. And then you will understand why now they're saying by 2050, half of the population is going to need intervention to even be able to get pregnant, to be able to have children naturally, because we're destroying our wombs, we're destroying our hormonal health just by operating in that distorted masculine energy that is what's pervading right now in this overculture, what's being pushed and promoted. We don't need more women stepping into power that are operating like distorted masculine men. We need women stepping into power that are operating in their divine feminine. That's not a weak energetic though. It's nothing weak about feminine energy and power, but it's not what we're seeing out now being propped up as feminine energy. That's distorted masculine energy parading as feminine energy, dressed up in all the accoutrements that come along, but it's not it. So I know that was a lot, but I'm gonna hand the mic back over. And he's gonna come take back over his interview.
Hey, I see why Griff wanted her to speak. Griff, goddamn, the people going crazy in the chat. Yo, Griff, man, I see why you wanted your queen to. She went off, brother. She went off, brother. Yeah, that was wow, man. I definitely appreciate this interview. So, like, tell the people how they could reach you and contact you, because they go. It's over 1,000 people and they going off in the chat right now.
My grandbaby is hollering. She's like, They can call. I'm on Instagram. I'm Mrs. Soleil, MRSSOLE, and my website is goddesstempleoflove.com. And I teach exactly what we've been talking about, teaching women how to reclaim that divine feminine essence and power, which is not a place of, it's not a passive anything. So we don't have to think we have to be walked on or to be not in our full power. We can be in our full power and still be in our divine feminine essence, in that deep feminine essence that's not a distorted masculine energetic, operating in harmony with nature, with our loved ones. Just it's so much work to be done in these realms, but goddesstempleoflove.com. I do an online course twice a year, retreats all throughout the year, so they can find me there.
They want to know, do you have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel, but I'm not. See, he pulls me in to do these. I really don't. As much as I can talk, I actually really am a little bit shy. I don't do a lot of talking in interviews except when I'm teaching my courses, and it feels like it's a small group of women. But I do have a YouTube. It's Soleil. You can look up SOLE and Google Soleil, Daughter of the Earth. That song will take you to my YouTube. And I keep saying I'm going to do more videos and post them, but maybe you inspired me to do this with yours.
Definitely. Well, I definitely appreciate it. I got to get you on the show again, and we got to it's been a while, probably about 2 years or something like that. And we got to let all the sisters know about these retreats that you're doing.
The next one is in Costa Rica in December.
This December?
Yep, I got like 4 spaces left.
Okay, oh man, that's it? Oh, come on. That's going to be going before this live stream is over.
That would be beautiful. Whoever's magnetized to the work is there. I don't do a lot of selling and pushing and promoting. It's like we do it in a very deep, feminine, energetic of we're magnetizing to us what is for us in the right time.
Okay, well, I definitely thank you for your time. I'm definitely going to connect with you later. We're going to set something up probably later on this month in October. Griff, my brother, you set her up, but we all glad you set her up. It turned out good. That was absolutely magnificent. Griff, what do you want to leave the people with before we get out of here, my brother?
I think what we need to do is kind of let the DJ Akademiks of the world know how this conversation kind of started off. We need to let him know that this is not a whole canceling of you. It's not a cancellation of who you are as an individual. We want you to know and understand that there's a realm waiting for you. It's called eldership. You understand what I'm saying? If you would but respect it. That's what I basically just want to say. We're inviting you in. We invited everyone into the culture of hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? Just come in and respect the rules of the house. That's all. That's all we're saying, bro. Plain and simple.
Spoken like a true elder, brother.
Oh, gift that's good, bro. No, we're trying. We're trying.
One more time, give out your number so they can get that book, brother.
You are the song that you sing. Just give me a call at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919.
Thank you, my brother.
Give thanks.